Okay, perfect rainy day for a bit of indoor rowing on the Indoor Sculler. So I thought we'd make a little video of servicing your machine. As they say, it's all video, video, video. The tools you'll need: a couple of bread and butter knives, or you can use the can opening thing on a Swiss Army knife to remove the little Christmas trees. I'll show you that in a minute. We also need a hex key, a 13mm spanner, preferably a inox or lanox, which are paraffin or lanolin based lubricants. There's other brands. Do not use a kerosene based lubricant because they'll dissolve the grease in the bearings. Okay, and we'll need a hammer to try and help us remove the flywheel. Now I've obviously loosened a few items because I'm doing this one-handed. You use the bread and butter knives, just lever those in underneath the Christmas trees, and we just lever them off like that. Okay, so I've taken all 6 off, just left the 6th one in there to demonstrate. We can then remove the cover like so. Now we've got the flywheel. At this point we'd use our spanner to loosen the flywheel nut. Obviously it'll be much tighter than that, but while the shaft will still be quite tight. At this point you'd place some tension on with one hand and just tap the centre nut at the same time and don't remove the nut until you've loosened the flywheel. Then once it moves on the shaft, you can just continue undoing the nut and remove the flywheel. Okay, so that's one side. Now that does 2 things. It gives us access to check on the sensor positioning, make sure the tape's still okay, and holding the sensor in place. You can check the condition of the outer bearing and the shaft, and most importantly, in most cases, you can now see the elastic and the chain return wheels, and you'll be able to lubricate those using one of these little nozzles. Just a little tiny spray. Don't want too much, don't want to accumulate dust by overdoing it. And both sides, both elastic wheels, just a little squirt. It's a stainless steel shaft on all the Rowperfect axles, so the oxidation is absolutely minimum. You just need a small amount of lube to keep function as good as possible. Okay, just check that, and of course, just move that sideways, and we always lubricate the chain while it's still on the bar in most cases, but for the to get some access in here to the actual chain and the chain return wheels. Now, then the next step I would take would be to lubricate in here on the actual chain return pulley. Okay, there's a small and a large pulley there. So each of those, I'd just give a very small squirt of lube and a little bit onto the actual wheels and the chain itself, of course. Okay, we check the chain condition, check the top pulley. You could take the nose cover off, no problem at all. Be a great idea. I don't always do that for a minor service. If there's any doubt, by all means. You can always, of course, check the condition of the elastic, the rollers, and the most important thing probably, while you've got that flywheel off, we would definitely want to use a hex key to check the tightness on that one axle up there that you cannot access without the flywheel being off. The other axles usually have, or they always have a nylock nut, so they're unlikely to come loose, but you'd use a 10mm spanner to check that at the same time. Look inside, make sure everything's nice and clean. This is a very old machine. It's done 2.5 years of hard work. It's still in great condition. You can see there it's had a little drop or two, and it's had no effect on the machine. I wouldn't recommend it, but it certainly seems to stand that sort of thing quite well. I've taken a shaft from another machine, and just so we've got an idea, you've got the stainless steel clutch, which incorporates the drive cob. There's a little white nylon spacer there that slides on the shaft. That's where you'd definitely put a little bit of lubricant in there. Okay, and at the same time we'd always check the tightness of the outer nut. of whatever type it happens to be. Some of the older machines have a button head nut, as the axle does there, and the newer ones now have this stainless cap nut, but the same principle applies. It needs to be nice and tight. Alright, so that's maintenance in a nutshell. You'll be able to see if the elastic's got any wear and tear. You'll be able to check the lubrication, you'll be able to check the cleanliness inside, and give everything a good clean up while you've got the opportunity. And put the flywheel back on, tighten it very, very tightly before replacing the cover. Okay, possibly take a few strokes just to make sure it is nice and tight before you put the cover back on, and then your machine's ready to use. And while the weather's like that, that's the best kind of rowing to be doing. Okay, have a great day. Bye.